Hey, and welcome to the Weed Out, where we talk about the bullshit and talk about the nonsense in our backyard. My name's Spencer Fox Peterson, with my co host as always.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna May Booty.
And this week we're going to have a wonderful member of our community known as Holyoke Memes on Instagram. Definitely check this account out. It's a meme account. It's silly, but it they do a wonderful job over there kind of highlighting the shenanigans, whether it's at HCC, the Holyoke Mall, the policies, and like how it shakes out in real life. And it's just a really funny little account. And we always talk about pretty negative shit here: cop malfeasance, inequality, oppression. So we like to really keep it light sometimes because Joanna and I, at the end of the day, are kind of goofballs. And we like to show people in the community that are it doesn't maybe this person Holyoke Memes doesn't feel that they're contributing, but I can say it gives me a smile and it's relatable and it's things I see, and I don't know, it's just fun. And it's one of the upsides to social media, which has a lot of downsides. But meme accounts, it's here to these memes are here to stay, and it's a way we communicate, and it's what separates us from previous generations. So we're just happy to have on a local contributor to the community and ask them about their experiences working and observing all of the shenanigans up and down in Holyoke and the surrounding areas as well. So Joanna, do you have any thoughts before we say hello to our guest?
Yeah, I guess I just want people to know that running a social media account is a lot of work. As a content creator, it sounds like obnoxious, I guess, to say out loud, but it's an incredible amount of work. So even if you're doing a site where you're kind of like joking on people or shit posting, if you still hit some chords where you're like making sense and like resonating with the community, that's awesome. And on top of that, it's already a lot of work, even just doing the work that you're doing. And also, I know that we'll get into it when we start talking, but the person that runs this account, one of the people I hear, one of the admins, the Holyoke Memes person, is also interested in like tenants' rights issues and things like that. So I think it really goes to show that when you reach out and connect with others, you find out that we all are interested in, we have similar values and goals because, we're not all that different. We're neighbors. So I'm excited to get into it.
Laughter is a good way to communicate dire situations and make the mundane. I mean, comedy historically is what helps progress people. It's what challenges people's thoughts. Good comedians, for example, if you're going to talk about traditional comedy, being able to dance within the nuance is what makes a great comedian. That's what made George Carlin great, for example. So again, we need to, as much as we talk about serious stuff, there's other ways to talk about serious stuff and make it relatable, and also just laughter is a good fucking relief. And I personally like the one that gets there's one thing, we'll share it in the web episode notes and then I'll stop talking. But my favorite meme, and hopefully they'll talk about it, is whenever they dunk on the government has its contracts with these e-bikes, and now that e-bike company is bankrupt because corporate America. And this is what happens when you outsource all of your government and all your municipal things to third party companies instead of just investing in it yourself. uh, we can talk more about that at a different time, but that's my favorite meme, and I hope they talk about it. Is the ongoing drama in the valley about the e-bikes and us just having no way of any public transportation while this is getting sorted out. So that's all I have to say about that, and we'll talk about more. So Holyoke Memes, welcome.
Hello. Thank you very much for the introduction. I don't know if I'm advancing comedy or anything, but I'm glad you like my political nonsense rants. Um, I have a lot of very hot opinions about things that I don't really share with the people close to me, and I was like, oh man, who can I bitch to about this stuff? And then I started making memes about it, and they've they've been going far. Especially the Valley Bike situation has been really pissing me off. I had plans to print out a bunch of missing flyers that were like missing Valley Bikes last seen 11/30/2022. Um, but that didn't really pan out because they've shut down so much that like they're putting like covers over the over what I wanted to put them on, which would have been the bike racks. where all the stuff is. So, I haven't been able to do that, but I've been kind of bitching at the Valley Bike account on Instagram for a little while. Uh, they were like, "Oh, well, hopefully you have them back by May," and I was just commenting on their post. I don't know. It's been quite fun.
And for me, like what I find funny about it is Holyoke specifically. So we have municipal power here, municipal electricity and gas. And yes, it does raise some of the taxes and all that stuff, but it's ultimately fucking cheaper than using third party. And when something breaks, like I own my I have a mortgage with my family, and you can call HG&E and the service is great. It really is. It's a municipal thing, and we're debating currently about having municipal internet, and people are, oh, the cost, the cost. It's like, but fucking Xfinity sucks. And then this example with the bikes,
Absolutely. No, I get you. I get you.
we all need fucking internet. We all need water. We all need electricity. And we all need to get around. So why the fuck won't we just coalesce our money? I mean,
Oh yeah.
best together.
No, no. I love HG&E. They're like, I don't know. I'm not exactly a homeowner or anything, so I haven't had the need to call them myself. But I know that they're quite reliable. I walk by their building a lot when I'm walking home from the bus station, and this is a little bit embarrassing, but I have soccer trophies from like early 2000s, and I played for HG&E a very long time ago. So I don't know. I'm a fan of them. I think that's quite a good idea. Having Holyoke in charge of more of the things that we really rely on. For the Valley Bike situation, it was more of like a big company that was spread. Not a big. I mean, you saw they went bankrupt, but they, sorry, my cat is doing some crazy shit in the corner of my eye. I'm getting a little bit distracted. Um, they covered a very like a large amount of the Pioneer Valley, or at least so much so that it would be out of Holyoke's hands to really handle. But if we had I don't know, somebody who could get a few city councils and maybe the approval of the mayor together, we could. I don't know if you can hear my cat yelling at me, but
No, but I wish I could. But I wish I could.
all right. Well, now she's on my desk.
I tried. I tried.
All right. I could find the cities that they were active in, but it was
Yeah.
quite a
So
few.
is this the Valley Bike program? Was that who Holyoke was part of?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yes.
that's yeah.
I don't know. Just the HG&E thing is so fascinating. For example, I just last year they redid the water and gas pipes on my street because they're over 100 years old. So they systematically went through our neighborhood, and just like all construction, it's a pain in the ass. But all these dudes that work for HG&E work in the city, and I don't need them to be nice to me at all. But they're all like, because you're gonna see the same people. These aren't revolving crews from other companies from far away. Guys like, hey, by the way, next week we're gonna be doing X, Y, and Z, and they really are like your neighbor fixing the street, and it's just like, yeah, and I'm cool with them getting whatever check they get, like sewer pipes, poop tubes, like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
dude.
Pay them more,
Oh, 100%.
and they could take care of the bikes, or the parks department would probably do that. But the point is, we could all use this stuff, and bikes lessen traffic. They take the burden off, and trucks can get around easier, whether they're doing road work or making deliveries. And I don't know, it's just really
And so
funny
to
aside to the macro, and you're like, this is so dumb.
so to talk turkey, just because I'd be the one like in some positions when I think back to my town, like trying to get things passed, and then you'll both be aware of this, but just as we like think about, I completely agree, and I'd even want municipal internet, but it's quite costly, and then the tax dollar thing does alarm certain people only because in this economy. But then I would tell those same people to please look at how much money you allocate to your police department, um, and what those associations and unions get every year. So like
Mm,
most Americans get like 2 to 4% raises potentially, maybe every year, maybe if you get a raise at all. Police unions and associations have it fixed so that your town has to make sure that all officers are paid their overtime, their hourly rates, and they get their at least 4 to however it could be up to 11% depending on the town and the year raises too. So and then that the school system does the same thing and they get raises. The teachers don't get as large raises as police though, and education in my opinion is way more important than a bloated police department. So I just want to throw it out there while we're talking about funds that we definitely should reallocate funds away from sources of violence and ineptitude and focus them more towards things like utilities, transportation, and potentially just like internet overall, in my personal opinion.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Damn. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think a lot of our funds need to go a little bit other directions other than like violence, like you said with police. I think it's really rare to see anything good that the Holyoke police are doing with their funds.
Kind of have been not it's just the laws are set up this way. So like the Supreme Court has said over and over again, the cops have no duty to serve and protect. That's why you see those slogans in fucking quotation marks, because it would be false advertising. Like I'm being glib there, but the Supreme, you can look this up. There's 3 court cases that explicitly say like they have no duty. So if you're kidnapped and held hostage, they don't have to do shit. The only thing they have to do is after the fact. So it's like
Mhm.
even if they wanted to cover their ass, sometimes doing nothing, they do, because they're told like, well, at the very least, if this person ends up dead, you're not held liable. You have immunity from that. So it's like kind of a logical conclusion when you give them that get out of jail free card, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean these conversations are hard because we all want the fucking guns to be figured out. Like I don't want to necessarily say regulate. I don't necessarily want to incarcerate people over them. There has to be better education on guns or something, like, because knowledge is power. And we have to be more honest in our discussions about what they do. They have one purpose. They have one fucking purpose, and still they know their purpose for a gun.
It's ridiculous. Nobody at any level of government has the balls to challenge guns or do anything to restrict or protect people from guns. However, the knife laws in Massachusetts are fucking insane. I can't get an automatic knife that's longer than 1.5 inches for just no fucking reason at all. But there was literally like there was a dude who printed 2 assault rifles in Springfield or Holyoke not too long ago, and it's like we have so few. We have too many resources going towards fucking cops and shit when we could, I'm sorry, I got a little bit distracted there.
No, it's flustering. Like honestly, it's very. I'm somebody who like thinks about this a lot, and I get like kind of like caught in like, all right, well, what would be there? I don't have an answer for guns. I'll be straight up with the listeners. Like I do not have an answer, because it's one of those things. Like even if you had the answer, there's still more guns than people in this country. What do you do with that? Like,
And so many militias that people just don't realize are there. Like weird Christian cult militias, like Oregon and Idaho are about to try to secede into each other. Like there's just there are so many guns and so many people with
there's so many legal guns, is what I'm saying. Like, or
yeah, these people have legal guns. Militias, they're probably registered.
more legal guns in this country than there are fucking people. That's like, what do you do with that problem? You can't just be like, no more guns. Like, good fucking luck enforcing.
Like good luck taking them from some of the people.
You're gonna just end up having a whole bunch of dead people on both sides. Everybody's going to die.
Do you remember the Simpsons episode where they had a huge fire and threw a bunch of guns in, and they just got rid of all of them and turned it into like a what was it, playground or something like that?
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's depressing the amount of firearms we've got around here, and it's just why are we so obsessed with guns here? Like,
what inspires you to make the content? Is it just literally walking around?
I got a lot of inspiration from being an incredibly frequent walker in Holyoke. Back when the Valley bikes were around, I took a few like 16-mile, 20, 25-mile bikes around Holyoke and South Hadley, crossing the bridge and shit. So I've seen a ton of stuff. I have so many pictures on my phone of just like random things in Holyoke, and that's really how I got got my footing into the meme account world. Just like I don't know. I have a lot of pictures. I have a lot of memes that came from just pictures that I took or experiences that I had. Like I had a lot of. I used to make a lot of gas station memes because I would go out for 3 or 4 hour bike rides in Holyoke at like midnight, 1 a.m. and just like grab a soda from the Pride station or Ani's Mart or anything, and then just keep biking the entire night. So it just comes from whatever I'm doing in my life. Um, the other guy just kind of makes a lot of good shit posts. I make a lot of personal shit, um, like just based off of like I recently I was bitching relentlessly about the staircase at the mall because it's so fucking thin and it's impossible to get by anybody, and there's always somebody incredibly slow on it, and like I have had like dozens and dozens of people contacting me or not contact like replying to my stories or liking it or being like, oh my god, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I don't speak for people, I speak for myself, and there's a lot of people that have similar problems or can relate to the shit that I complain about. Um, and then there's other times where it's just like, oh, I saw a meme about Stop and Shop, might as well just post that. There's a lot of dichotomy being a meme account admin because like some days I'm posting some incredibly obscure shit about like the staircases in HCC, and then other days it's just something really really general where it's just a meme about Massachusetts, just like oh man, I hope I didn't get born in Massachusetts, and then you do, and like uh, sometimes there's a lot of effort, sometimes there's like days of thinking about it and going, okay, how many ideas can I put into this meme, what should I do for this. That's where I got a lot of my popularity was the memes that a bunch of people from cities around the Pioneer Valley can relate to. Like the thing that first got me popping off was God, it feels so weird to say that. Was this meme about like I have two sides: Heaven, Holyoke; Heaven, Belchertown; Springfield, Wilbraham, etc., etc. And like that really does well because people see it and they know somebody who lives in one of those cities, or they live in one of those cities, and they share it. But that's just what I love making. I've been making memes for like a really long time, not just on Instagram, but like just for my friends, or like I have a lot of experience doing image editing and video editing, like not like professionally, but more just making whatever shit makes me or my friends laugh. And I found Ludlow memes, and I saw their shit, and I was like, "There's no Holyoke memes," so I just eventually made my own, and uh, as well as my my apprentice, the other guy who works on this shit. We've been shit posting for how many months? Since like October. Um, uh, there's a lot of inspiration that comes out of these memes, and then there's a lot of just garbage that I might as well just post. I get a lot of people that can relate to some of the problems I post, and sometimes I'll post like work in progresses on my story, or ask people like, "Hey, is this like a little bit offensive? Is this joke a little bit too mean to make?" Way back in like September or October, I made a post on my story like, "Is it too dark to make a joke about Wilmer Puelo Mota?" Um, and I never really finished that meme, but I was working on a another one, and I finally posted it now because like I had a ton of people that were like, absolutely post that shit. Um, I get a lot of stuff like that.
So yeah, counselor. What? Remind me his last name. Mota. He would counselor. I believe that's Ward 1, correct? Ward 2. Well, one of the wards
I haven't been to see
down
him for a while, but
in Holyoke, and
I don't know.
he was indicted, and or did he take a plea deal? Is he under a plea deal?
Oh my goodness, he's scheduled to appear in court today. He's quoted in saying that words will be said in court today. I am very much awaiting any sort of information I can get on that. However, I don't know how much is going to be revealed. But yeah, it's a real bitch of an issue because he was caught. I think. Hold on, I don't want to be wrong here when I say it. Yeah, no, he was caught in January 2021 with images on his phone that you know he shouldn't fucking have, and since and up until then he was taken off of city council for a few months and then been a he's still been on the Holyoke City Council since he got forced back on in September of last year. So he's been on city council for quite a while now. Like, what's that? 9 months? Yeah, this guy's been making decisions about the city, and he was also invited to a event at Holyoke Community College. And I don't know if I need to tell you this, Holyoke Community College has high schoolers in it and quite a few minors. I don't know why the fuck he was allowed to go, but it's really just been turning into a shit show lately. So I really did my best to spread the word there. Like it obviously when I make something very hyper local and incredibly political with like 2 pages of information and links and sources to read, not a lot of people are gonna like share it as much as like my funny haha, oh my god, look at Chicopee, it's so funny, or Holyoke or Springfield, something like that. But I got a lot of responses in the comments of people who were like shocked or outraged. You guys were in there too. But many people who messaged me about it and were like, is this true? I hadn't heard of this. So like I'm not I'm not a news website. I'm not a source for journalism, but I spread the word of things that many people in the community just haven't really heard about. Because if you're not reading regular news for that relates to Holyoke, online at least, or you just don't really care, or you live in a different city, you might just assume, oh yeah, there's nothing too bad going on over there. But it's been a shit show.
Absolutely. Just think about Captain Reyes is in court with a subordinate. He's currently on leave of the Holyoke police for sexual misconduct and harassment and head of internal affairs. So he's the guy investigating the malfeasance in the department. Like, what are we fucking doing here? Like, we have a guy on council that won't resign, and I guess maybe there's nothing the other parts of the government can do about it without a giant fight. I don't know. Maybe they're going to let the voters speak in the fall, I guess, is their cop out, probably. But yeah, I mean, there's clearly an issue where they refuse to hold people accused of pretty heinous things accountable, and before it becomes even worse, so let the counselor to go to this event at HCC with 17 and 18-year-olds when he's been caught in 4K with fucking inappropriate photos.
Oh, I just want to correct you. There are people as young as like 15 that go to HCC.
Great.
Yeah, so it is a nightmare.
It's all bad.
And I know that he's not already found guilty, right? So that's probably what they'd argue, but still.
Yeah, his court date is today.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably what the people would argue, but you're right. Like as an administrator of of the university systems as an admin, and I used to work in academic affairs at another college, like I would not necessarily, I would maybe wait till after his court case to invite him to an event with minors.
And it's irresponsible of the other people in government to not make a statement about it and be like, yo, he should not be anywhere near children. We can't kick him out. There may be legal reasons. That's fine. But he should not be allowed near children. Like whether it's their own back channels, like you may sees the administrator at HCC who's ultimately in charge is like, hey man, that's a bad fucking idea.
Mhm.
Like that's what you got to do. Like I don't I've never done politics, but like it's just the silence is fucking deafening, and they don't give a.
Mhm.
They think we're all stupid, and there is no local media really. I mean, we got WWLP and Mass Live, which are like, unfortunately, you're probably more well sourced and well meaning than those account. Those are the quote unquote legitimate news sources, and they just do propaganda, and it feels like they're basically doing BuzzFeed articles. You know,
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I've
a
read
journalism.
some WWLP that actually just reads like a fucking BuzzFeed article. Um, I don't know. I can't really take like crazy credit
Oh, but it's
for
the
doing
fact
too
that
much.
you see yourself as like this is a public good. Like
Mhm.
yes, I'm here to entertain. I'm here to be the clown, and maybe I can be a clown and make fun of this really awful situation. By the way, here's the facts. This is real.
Yeah, yeah. Here's my sources, citing my sources like I'm in like back in English class. Um,
No, and it's great. But my point is like I want to make sure you're encouraged because it's not it's not always going to be Woodward and Bernstein that's getting the word out about malfeasance in government. You know, it's a separate
mhm.
Nixon for anybody that may not know what I'm talking about. But you know, that's pretty dry reporting. But like comedians and funny people and radio personalities also move the story and remind people like, hey, this is actually happening. It's pretty fucked up, huh? You know,
Mhm.
like yeah,
I
right.
I
Sorry.
have to say another comedian because you're talking about comedians that my dad might mention. And RIP dad, but like Eric Andre is another comedian who went to like a really crazy like right wing protest where Alex Jones was like the keynote speaker and he got on stage and like it is so good. If you haven't ever seen it, please look it up. But he totally trolls it, and I just, you can do a lot with comedy. You're totally right, Spence.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
there's a guy on TikTok. His name's like Walter Matterson or Matherson. He's it's called The Good Liars, or maybe I'm even conflating two funny accounts on TikTok. And they basically go to these MAGA events and just like shit post them to their face.
I've always dreamed of doing something like that,
It's
but
bald,
uh,
and you have to be committed to the bit. Like I couldn't do it. I can't keep a straight face for that long.
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't care about saying this publicly. I have done some really funny shit on the politics tag on Omegle, where I just I find somebody who's really who, who plays those kind of conservative mind games where they just try to like back you into a corner and admit that whatever their opinion is right. So I found I found a few guys that are like, try to explain to me what they think abortion is.
Oh my
I've
god.
gotten a few people that are like, oh, they rip out the fetus with tongs and then they crush its skull and then they put it into a smoothie and then and then that's a other than the smoothie part, that is a legitimate argument that I heard from somebody. And
I
then there's
believe
this
it.
other there's these other guys that like want to slowly gaslight you into thinking like, oh well, if this is okay, then this is okay. Then if this is okay, then this is okay. Then this is if this isn't okay, then abortion should be banned. Like that kind of thought process of just like, I'm gonna lead you down this path and you better agree with me at the end of it, or I'm gonna yell the fuck out at you. But I would start these conversations with saying, yeah, no, absolutely, let kids die, sure, go for it, because they want to like be like, oh, you think it's okay to kill kids, and I just fuck with them a lot, like telling them the insane shit that they think nobody would ever say. I don't know. Maybe it gives my views a bad name, but I absolutely love fucking with like insane, really angry Republicans.
Joanne and I just peek around the weed out social media. Like we do a version of shit posting too. I mean, we have our political way of shit posting, and funny enough, like
We're the worst on Twitter.
oh,
We
I
are.
can't find your Twitter. Hold
That's
on, give
where
me a
we're
second.
like actually and like me personally, I'm usually pretty nice. Like I'm a self I guess I'm calling myself one. I'm like self-proclaimed Bernie bro. Like when that used to exist, and people would be like, Bernie bros are attacking me on Twitter. Like that was me. But now I'm pretty mellow unless you come at me. But I think our account is more shit posty on Twitter. Like Bernie bros also didn't exist because I was one.
right.
So
But basically, we are we have the most trouble with like the centrist and neolibs, like
Really?
the
Yeah, they're just mentally like, oh
because
man,
they all love cops.
they're just feeling unsafe constantly.
They all love,
Those people still exist?
Yeah, man.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, it's the worst, especially
They're like, I'm so unsafe.
in Massachusetts is home to a lot of.
I feel like those people are all on the eastern side of the Connecticut River. Like the closer to the Quabbin you are, I think the more likely you are to have those kinds of views.
Absolutely, I can vouch for that based on our Twitter deal. Like Turtle Boy's out of Central Mass, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
you go further east, and it's just like I'm pretty sure like all the accounts I've encountered with are either like really sick white old men or like cops on burner accounts. They're fucking bootlickers like you never heard, and it's just bad apples, just bad apples. It's like a bad dream. It's like Groundhog Day every fucking day. And we got like some real real gems that have verified they're real fucking people. Um and the funny thing is we don't engage with them, and every now and then they engage our account. They don't follow us. They come to our account and interact with our posts or retweets. So sometimes they don't think they're talking to us. They're just shit posting some abolitionist or some anti-capitalist that we retweeted without a quote tweet. And so we'll get the notification, and you're kind of like, all right, I have to respond to this person if they're being a dick. And they don't like it. And then they tell you you're a fucking bully, and you're like, dude, nobody fucking goes to your shit. Nobody here anyways. So like fuck right off. And then they go into their civility politics, and the leftists are the real problem. You're just as bad as the MAGA. And it's like, hey man, I want people to have food, water, housing, and not get the shit beat out of them by cops. How am I just as extreme as a bunch of fascists? Like, what are you fucking talking about? So, and they all have
The leaps and logic people will take to just associate you with, X bad person. It's fucking ridiculous.
and it's usually just because it's that they've been programmed or propagandized and thinking this is normal. This shit is normal. And it's like, reality is there weren't roving gangs of state sanctioned cops 300 years ago. It was all community based, and yeah, there was awful things happening then too. It just looked different. So like, stop acting like we can't not have police, because we can still have oppression without police. I don't know. I mean, just somebody else will be fucking being dicks if we don't think about this critically and think about what people need to not do harmful things to other people. Because people think homelessness and petty theft and or fighting over resources and shooting each other in the street. And that's what I get really upset about with the shot spotter thing. And most of the time, in my opinion, if a gunshot goes off, I don't understand why everybody assumes it's a aggressive thing and not a defensive thing. Like, we have the Second Amendment supposedly for defense, and when it's a brown community, it's assumed it's aggressive. But if you're on the other side of Holyoke and you hear a gunshot, they're either doing target practice in their giant backyard, or they were scaring something off, and no questions if it was an aggressive gunshot. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but
Mm, I've heard a lot of gunshots in.
no, I'm not saying gunshots don't happen, but
And I always think a gunshot is aggressive personally.
personally, yes, but I understand gunshots are aggressive, but there's this built-in thing. I guess maybe I should reframe it for white people. When it's in a white area,
Excuse me, what?
it's automatically assumed like the George Zimmerman thing, like, oh, he was standing his ground. But when it's in another neighborhood, there's no benefit of the doubt per se. And like, the reality is, people do gangs, do things that are illicit because they're shut out of the competitive marketplace by gerrymandering, redlining. Like, we create these scenarios where people are in poverty, and that leads to really bad choices,
Mm,
systemically. So it's like, and then there's the assumption like, okay, there's more guns than people in this country, and
Wait, I'm just to catch up. Um, I feel like more white people own guns.
Probably. I don't even know.
And they're more dangerous.
Statistically, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so I just want.
White people are the ones that defend guns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and they own more of the guns. Absolutely. I would just want to. So, like, I, as a hick from the Berkshires who grew up with hunters, like I hear gun. And where I live now in Franklin County, I hear guns go off sometimes because it's usually hunting, but it still makes me nervous. But I'm more afraid personally of people who are white with guns because honestly, or I guess what you're saying, Spencer, is like people who I'm just trying to understand, fully wrap my head around this, like people who are involved potentially in what would be labeled organized crime may have guns to protect themselves, to protect what they're doing, whatever's happening. But those people are not intentionally going to ever shoot me. Yes, it could happen on mistake, but like usually it's like a turf war thing. So like again, white people, we are pretty safe in regards to
I
that.
just also want to make sure anybody listening in Holyoke Memes, I don't want anybody like to have to hear fucking gunshots. Like
No,
that's
I didn't think that. I just
no,
was
no,
trying
no.
to
I
catch
just want to
up.
make sure it was like I don't know if I was being clear. Like, oh, gunshots happen and we should assume they're defensive. No, not at all. Like, I think it's traumatizing. Like, you shouldn't have to live in that trauma. That's fucked up. You should be able to like breathe easy and not worry about a fucking bullet going through your door.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to your car to like get your pack of smokes, like, and you catch a stray bullet. Like, that's unfucking acceptable, and nobody should have to like wake up in the middle of the night to that. We should be it's just unnecessary, and I just think it just gets frustrating on how, as a dude who goes to city council or talks to people in the neighborhood, how they talk about one side of town versus the other. Actually, like, it stands out to me because I'm not born here. I'm from Quincy, Mass, for anybody. But was similar. It's a lot different now than when I lived there. It's gentrified to fuck, but that's possibly where Holyoke is going. So I kind of like, I see how people talk about their own community just because they are on that side of town, and oh, that side of town is dangerous. Well, let's fucking invest, man. Like, people are poor, and when you're poor, you tend to live in places that aren't safe because they're poor too. And like Joanne was saying, they're fighting over a drug turf, or that person robbed me a
Well,
week.
in your town, like your town has already you've created these neighborhoods and then you other people. Like you're like, oh, that neighborhood's so bad. And it's like, okay, you've allowed it to become a quote unquote bad neighborhood because of A, B, and C. Like the housing may not be like maybe slumlord landlords are the people that allow um low income individuals who may be renting housing to just live in really bad situations. And then those people, yes, may take on things that are again called by society at this time organized crime to make money because minimum wage actually is really shitty and hard to get by on sometimes. So I don't know, I'm not condoning any of these things, but that's a reason why people might like their medical bills alone in America are ridiculous.
And they don't have access to the court system. So if like you got beef with somebody, you can't go sue them. Or you can't say that guy robbed me, like rob my drug money or rob my illicit source of income or the thing that gets me income or just like my personal property. The cops aren't going to help you. They don't fucking help. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if it's over something legal, it's like all fucking hell if the cops are gonna help anybody like that. They
Only if it's insured does it matter.
oh yeah.
Sure. So like if somebody steals your fucking iPhone, I mean, you're pretty much fucked. Like, what do you? I mean, unless you can prove they stole it, and then the cops aren't gonna go fucking.
Look for your iPhone. They don't give a shit.
Oh, and like reasonably, again, because they have no duty to protect and serve, they have to do a balance. Like, is this risk of one of us getting shot over an iPhone worth it? Nah, fuck it, go buy yourself a new phone. We're not risking one officer because we're not going to make any money off recovering your phone, and that's essentially it. Like,
Oh yeah.
capitalism is broken our fucking brains. It's just. Profits over people get you these fucking results, you know?
I get you. I think I might be a little entitled, but I've kind of always felt safe around Holyoke. Like I've had my times where I was not particularly safe in Holyoke, but most of the time, even when I'm in neighborhoods that I haven't been in or I don't know the street layout or anything, or I'm somewhere that's fucking stereotyped as, oh, bad part. I don't really have a lot of bad interactions with people. I haven't really had to fear for myself that many times. I think it's a lot of the kind of stuck up, I sit in my McMansion at the edge of town attitude of people that really want to describe the rest of Holyoke as bad or evil or riddled with crime.
It's a bummer.
It's pretty chill.
And my thing is like I don't ever feel I've lived in other big cities. Lived in Boston. I've lived in New York City, and Joanna has lived in multiple cities too. So maybe she'll agree with me. But um, if you respect the neighborhood, don't come in and try to fucking own the place and try to like genderfy it, so to speak, and like demand space in a place that's not yours and you're not part of the community. No, you're somewhere. You won't get hassled if you're just minding your own fucking business.
Yo, I make friends, bruh. I make friends.
Right, but like, one way to not get hassled in any neighborhood, rich or poor, is don't. I mean, well, if you go to a rich neighborhood, they will fucking hassle you just for existing. But in
Yeah,
a
definitely. Oh my God.
less affluent neighborhood, yeah, I mean, respect the neighborhood. Don't fucking shit on it when you're there, and don't act like, you know, don't put your nose up to it. I guess I don't know. So
Also, what I don't know, like you don't need to roam into like your not neighborhood. I guess I'm not telling people not to go where they don't live, but like if you're feeling like it's that unsafe for you as like a person, if you feel that unsafe, like maybe just don't go there too. There's always that option for you.
I say read a book. Go read a book. Other people live different ways than you. Please tell us some petty stories before we start wrapping this up. We want to hear some petty
Stories.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
rapid fire.
Stories.
Rapid fire. Anything you could.
Oh God, no. Stories about Holyoke. I mean, I've had some interesting things happen to me. I was out back. I was down by the Holyoke Public Library, parking my bike, and I was just getting out, go for a walk, maybe walk around downtown, get something to eat, smoke a little bit. And this guy just walks up to me. I wouldn't assume anything about a person. But he was dressed head to toe in blood with the bandana and some shit on his sleeves and stuff. And he walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, do you got a lighter?" He was trying to smoke a blunt. I patted myself down, forgot I didn't have a lighter. It's like, "Nah, sorry, man." And he just kept on going. And I don't know. That kind of changed my thoughts out of the more privileged white boy mindset of just like, dude, these are just fucking people. Like, there's a lot of people, especially in this city, who will judge you based on where you live or how you dress. And the people who judge the most live in, the neighborhood that they think the highest of. And he just kind of humbled me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what he was up to. He was just out to smoke. He didn't have any fucking problems with me, and I didn't have any problems with him. And I just imagine how that situation would have gone for someone who of a more paranoid. Oh, I'm scared of this part of town. Oh, anybody who comes up to me is trying to hurt me or something like that. What other funny stories have I got? Not too much. I very, very publicly crashed on one of the Valley bikes while I was trying to park down by the bus station. I was just going way, way, way too fucking fast because I had built up a shit ton of speed going down Dwight Street because Dwight is a fucking hill. I was just absolutely zooming and just ate shit in the grass in I think Memorial Park maybe, right across from the bus station. And my God, dude, I have not felt so embarrassed. Just fucking followed over into the leaves and dirt and grass. That sucked.
I always feel bad, but anytime I see a video of somebody falling down, I laugh. But again, it's like this weird, like you laugh really hard and it's like a good release, but then there's this like shame because you're like that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be on the next video.
Yeah, I'm always the guy that falls. And then what I've even done the thing where you're like nobody
yeah.
saw, and then they saw.
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
it's like sometimes it's just like a human response, I guess. It's just like, oh shit. But yeah, I'm sorry you fell. I hope you didn't get a concussion or.
I'm good. I'm good. I did get a concussion at HCC though. My friend pushed me and my head just fucking slammed into the corner of the table. and I got concussed at the HTC Cafe, which is a fun story to tell. And then it gets a
no.
little bit stranger because that was on Friday, and then the next day was Saturday, and I called out of work, and that was the day there was a fatal shooting at the mall. So it was a very very strange feeling of like, oh my god, did I just like miss something? Did I get like Final Destinations or something like that?
Something was smiling down on you that day, so unfortunately that did happen.
Yeah.
Like they were saying earlier, like no, but we don't have to live like this, people. I mean, we should be having, we should be addressing the causes of violence, and yeah, some of it's like we gotta tell these fucking gun manufacturers enough is enough, dude. Like they
Hmm. We don't need more.
don't need any more. There's plenty. There's plenty.
There's so fucking many.
And I think just there, I don't know what to do with that. Like I don't know what the policy is, but like I also don't, I want to abolish the current constitution and write a new one. So again, these are all conversations that we have to have. And because everybody's gonna have a different view, and I mean we don't negotiate with fascists, but like I can understand people really having a hard time accepting AR-15s being on the streets. Like that's pretty fucked up. Like we do not,
Yeah, I
Oh
hate that
yeah.
that exists. It's
and we gotta
ridiculous.
figure something out about ghost guns. Like that, you're absolutely correct. Like it's a fucking problem. Like again, we have enough guns on the streets, and they're not safe. Like I can't imagine a ghost gun because they're not on an assembly line. Like they're they're probably I don't know this, but I'm guessing they're more prone to misfires and shit, or whatever. It's sketchy enough buying a gun as is. Like you got to buy a decent one and you got to take care of it because they can be dangerous if they misfire.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. Like that's fucking crazy that you, wow, it's like some, my dad called out sick because I was sick from school and he didn't go to the World Trade Center on 9/11. That's some,
Oh yeah.
you're like, holy shit, there
Something happened there. Yeah.
luck exists, at least. Like that's proof that just sheer dumb fucking luck. And yeah, I don't, when was that? Last November?
I want to say more of like January, February.
So many fucking mass shootings, you lose fucking track, man.
Oh yeah.
One's like,
May or no, no, yeah, May. Wait, no fucking way.
yeah, it was last.
Absolutely no. February. February. Okay.
So it was relatively recently, but yeah, I mean, also Massachusetts doesn't have, compared to other, it's a really sad stat. Like we have some of the best numbers on on random shootings, which is kind of fucked up. Like we're like first in the worst category, like first in the good way and the worst category to even have to have.
Oh yeah.
Getting shot down the street just for fucking going to work.
Oh yeah. No, Holyoke's especially got some really ridiculous statistics.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is with the shot spotter, like there's actually the deadly shootings have been outside, the majority of the deadly shootings since shot spotter has been implemented were outside of the shot spotter zone.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like one was just like, and again, it was like interpersonal shit. One was like some houseless folk that had issues with each other. I don't really want to speculate what it was, but it sounded like, oh, yeah. But again, there's a lot of guns in the street. If you live on the street, I mean, you have to have a weapon. And you brought up, I wanted to go back real quick to hear your thoughts about the self defense weapon, the automatic knives. I'm so fascinated. Like you can have a rifle that you can shoot from hundreds of feet away, or you can have like a concealed weapon that you can sneak up on someone and them, but you can't have brass knuckles. Like it's
Oh God, dude, I'm.
doing here.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I am
Me either.
unbelievably pissed.
I want them so bad, and I have since I was like 18. That's a really long time that's 22 years.
Oh my God.
Prefer to deal with that than have a gun. You know what I mean? I'd rather but I also want to live in a world where I don't need any of this. Like,
Well, I wear a ring on every finger because I can't have one.
god! I saw an advertisement on Instagram for this ring that like unfolded into like this sort of metal, really flimsy looking brass knuckle thing that I really wanted to get, but it would probably just fall apart before a single punch went through. But
And
oh
I'm
my
not,
So
god!
I completely agree. And I'm not violent. But as a woman, when I was younger, I just wanted it on me, like, instead of to have to hold my keys.
Oh,
Like if,
100%.
like if I'm walking late at night, it seems safer than like an actual weapon, if that makes sense.
but if you look up Massachusetts state law, it's absolutely not fucking worth it. There's no exception.
No, I would never. I would never
Like
have one.
literally no exceptions. So if you have them in your home and say the police are in your home for any reason, like
I do not.
attack. Oh no, you have a heart attack and they're in your home and they fucking see them on the dresser. They can fucking
Yeah.
charge you.
Well, yeah, that's
They're just-
with any unregistered weapon too, like a gun or anything.
You know, obviously has to be in clear view or otherwise they need a search warrant, but you know, they can get a search warrant for anything. So but
Oh yeah, they can get a fucking search warrant from an agent.
yeah, and, like,
Yeah,
if
no.
you're gonna buy them, you have to go buy them in cash in another state. It's just like none of it is worth it. But it's like it makes no sense why you can have any gun, but you can't have brass knuckles where somebody has to be within arm's reach of you, and it's could be argued that's a concealed weapon that you can use if you're say you're smaller than your opponent and somebody is trying to muscle you, you have that like sneak attack there, and
Mhm.
it's concealed, and that's like the whole thing. You know, that's the benefit of that, and also you're not necessarily posturing. You can posture with them, you can threaten with them, of course, but you know, as far as a defense weapon, they're pretty fucking ideal. And it's dumb that you can't have it or a knife or whatever. But you can have a fucking automatic rifle. It's just
Oh yeah, nah. It's so asinine.
like, if you can have automatic
yeah.
rifles, you should have that. And
I don't feel unsafe a ton, but like being able to have a like reliable knife on me while out walking is that's something that would give me a little bit more peace of mind. But I also have a friend who's literally like you know he's an incredibly talented butterfly with butterfly knives, and he wanted to buy this like incredibly cool one off of this website. He like actually put down like $400-500 on it because butterfly knives are insanely expensive. And they were like, actually, we don't ship to you or Rhode Island. Sorry, never mind. Because it's just like it's a butterfly knife. There's not exactly laws against them. They're hard to get in Massachusetts, but you can't sell them in Massachusetts. You can't have them publicly in Massachusetts. From what I know, I don't believe you can be detained for having them in your home, but they're definitely not illegal in public or to have on you. And like that butterfly knife will literally do less damage than like a toothpick because he's never gonna bring it outside. He just fucking flips it around, makes really cool tricks with it, and sends me videos of them. But as someone who's fucking not in the right state of mind can buy a gun with the just smallest of background checks. Yeah, I'm kind of disgusted by the power that is in guns that we just let people have when I can't have a cool knife or brass knuckles either.
and there's also an argument to be said. Like I've seen a lot of anarchists and leftists argue that people that are severely marginalized um, should have access to these weapons, but I again, like, so like sometimes I'm caught off guard by the logic. It's like, well, if all these fucking militias, these Christian nationalist militias exist, a trans indigenous or black woman should definitely be able to access this. Like it's such like a complicated conversation. But you can't have knives in rap,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
everybody agrees on that. It's like, oh, so we're doing something about violence when it comes to that. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing something about violence. That's the American way. Banning something that does a fraction of the harm at a fraction of the speed, but not giving the faintest fuck about like semi-automatic firearms for like.
And just the sickness of allowing something in the free market that is built on killing things. Like that's very like dark to think that it's a commodity. So guns and they only can kill people.
This tool of violence and killing. Yeah, no, I just have it because it's cool and it's
Yeah, right.
oh, it's my yeah, no. I have a very I have a joke opinion on when it comes to gun laws, but it's a joke because it's supposed to be incredibly controversial. But I think I might say it when the cameras aren't rolling.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have to share that. We'll talk about it when we walk out.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you. I haven't really heard the take of giving indigenous and marginalized people guns before, but honestly, it would do more to help us than what we're currently fucking doing, which is just letting cops and stuck up white men own all the guns.
And then punish the fuck out of the brown people and black people that
When they get caught with guns, yeah, absolutely.
legal or illegal. And listen,
Legal or illegal, yeah.
I just want full disclosure for everybody listening. I'm the resident white man here, and I have a beard, and I work in like a meat industry historically. Like that's where I'm at. So I'm around historically around these centrist to right wing men who even may present nice, but they tell you who they really are. I'm not really friends with a lot of these people anymore because I don't stand for it. But yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing. I can speak for it. Like the way they talk about everything. Like as long as it's legal, as long as they came here legally, everything is like, well, what are laws? Dude? Like what the fuck are laws?
Made up things.
Like okay, dude. We can make it illegal to be a fucking witch and then Joanna, sorry man, you're going in.
I'm gone, yo. I'm out. They're gonna burn me or drown me or some shit. Actually, I hope they give me the water test because I'd swim off.
Because you don't carry your partner's name, or you don't get married, or you don't have children, or you don't do this, or you wear pants.
I only wear pants like once a year, but like, come on, man. I'm just saying.
uh
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just saying that's a joke, a personal joke. Yes, you're correct.
so like an NBA star, maybe I don't know if either of you familiar with this, but there's a NBA star that just got suspended for like multiple times flashing guns on Instagram, and I guess he might have done something stupid with real people too. Like it might be a compounding factor. It doesn't really matter. But then you got politicians literally sending out their flyers with fucking AR-15s. Difference is one's a white dude politician, the other one is a fucking black guy with dreads.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
Oh my
it's
god.
like, are we like I feel like I'm in fucking Groundhog Day, people. You're like, what the fuck are we doing? Is this 1953? It's so overt, you know. Um, yeah, and it's really just it's like, yeah, neither is okay. Like we shouldn't be like glorifying weapons that hurt people and kill people. That's fucking weird behavior, and we should not celebrate that. But also, how does this guy get elected to office and this dude gets suspended? I wonder. So I'm glad you're gonna stick around, and we call it ghoulery and tomfoolery, and it's exactly what it sounds like. So this week, um, I'm gonna be referring to a New York Daily News tweet. Um, body cam footage released in cop killing of Jordell Richardson, a 14-year-old armed with a pellet gun, not a semiotic weapon. The backstory is some kids who were wearing hoods and medical masks, during a pandemic, in Aurora, Colorado, were seen there was an accusation that some vape cartridges were stolen. So cops basically escalated the situation because they were wearing masks and hoods and it looked suspicious. And then ended up with Jordell Richardson dead. And he got shot point blank, from what I understand, while he's on the ground and completely disarmed. And I've seen some speculation that they dropped a pellet gun, and he wasn't actually armed with that, and the body camera doesn't really show. It's like kind of unclear. I'm sure there will be some sort of investigation. We'll find some stupid shit out later. But the quote that's on from the body camera was, this is the officers could be heard saying, quote, "They just shoplifted out of there." Bruseska, one of the officers, tells his partner, quote, I'm going to light them up. This shit was premeditated. Like, this is first degree murder what they did to this kid. And um the way they released the press release on what happened is a lot like the George Floyd thing, where, oh, they were accused of shoplifting, they escalated, they had a gun, they brandished a weapon. And now all we know is that they found a pellet gun there. And that's why they killed him. And it's Chief Art Acevedo, who's been at multiple departments and been fired for similar policies and procedures that lead to situations like this. So it's the same fucking ghoul that's been fucking us for like the last 20 years, who just gets bigger and bigger city jobs or whatever, keeps getting city chief jobs. And yeah, like this, clearly they just shoplifted out of there. I'm gonna light them up can be heard. So it's just premeditated murder, and how they trickled the story out, I guess, is the ghoulery and tomfoolery. So, Holyoke Memes, since you're the guest, what's your fucking hot take on ghoulery and tomfoolery this week?
Oh, I wish I had me a real hot take on that. I was actually scrolling through your Twitter not too long ago, because you guys said that there was you've had some fun interactions on there, and I actually was just reading up that tweet like 20 minutes ago. Um, I think that's fucking horrifying. Um, Premeditated sounds about right. That sounds about right for the way cops just fucking butcher um, black and brown teenagers that they just want to, fucking do the same bullshit that they're always up to. Fucking, finding somebody, making them guilty by whatever fucking logic they want to bring themselves to, and figure out, if they were actually at fault or not later. It's just such a common recurrence for the way cops act. Is when it comes to acting incredibly irresponsible. Okay, that's not irresponsible. That's murder. But like, to group everything together incredibly irresponsibly, not the way an authority or police figure should ever be fucking acting. And then they let their lawyers, or more likely, fucking um politicians decide whether or not it was ethical, legal, should be allowed, should be punished, should be a crime. I know we're talking about cops right now, but I don't know if you've heard a few of the stories of what are they called? Presidential pardons, when it comes to military officers just butchering people in foreign countries and getting presidential pardons. I can't link that to cops because I haven't heard a story where a cop has been given a presidential pardon, but I wouldn't put it past Trump.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So just
Hey, I'm gonna actually be
horrible.
fucking wild here. So any centrists in the room, I wouldn't put it past fucking Joe Biden.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the fucking, that's the like, dude, we reward, like, there are some fucking sketchy people like out of Worcester PD who have like turned out to be like the worst, but for 20 years of their career, the media, the awards they get from the departments, from the benevolent association, dude, it's a grift. And it's like only the word, it's bad. I'm sorry, we're getting off topic with ghoulery and tomfoolery, but this is their fucking MO, and it's bad. um, Joanna, please.
Um, I don't have a hot take, but I agree that it's just horrifying. And some of our glory and tomfoolery is not necessarily as heartbreaking as this. A 14-year-old was shoplifting, and the person's thought was to light them up.
I don't even know if it was actually them who shoplifted.
So anyone shoplifting, but like the fact that you would think a child. So I'm coming at it from a psychological perspective here, and like in my job again, if I were thinking that a minor came into my office, or something near my job and stole something, and I was somewhat in charge of anything, I wouldn't be thinking how to physically harm them. So I just would like the listeners to consider, like, when we think about safety, like, anyone could be assumed to be the shoplifter, but it's usually going to be our brothers and sisters who are not white or who are not affluent. And these are your neighbors and the people that care about you. And it's over literally probably something small, and even if it's a TV and that seems like a lot to you, it's still property over life. And the state doesn't have the right to just kill you because they feel like driving up and gunning you down. That's actually what all of you are afraid of, quote unquote, gangs doing. So for me, this is just a reminder that um, children of color are treated differently than white children based on even just how they're perceived as almost adults at a super young age. And property is not more important than human life, no matter what.
And I just think about the trauma that you just incurred on that community and those families and those friends that witnessed their friend's murder that he was with. Like imagine being the one of the survivors, like of the four, kids. Like, they're gonna go through all sorts of shit, feeling guilt, feeling shame, like they didn't do anything, they should have done more, like whatever happens, and that's just like really fucked up to do a bunch of kids and their families in the community. And these guys are gonna get a vacation and probably get reinstated and probably get a medal down the line for like not getting their service dog killed, you know?
Oh my god, yeah, like
Killing the service dog because the service dog, he unleashed it on somebody and the dog gets hurt and dies or is retired because of the cop using his dog as a weapon.
yeah, it's that's horrible. Like they saw their friend, their neighbor, their family member get fucking butchered by the people that are supposed to fucking protect them. That would haunt anyone for years. I like just it's terrible the things that cops are doing to these kids and just they get defended. Like I haven't I mean your tweet was the first I heard of this, but I really wouldn't be surprised if I saw, hundreds of people arguing and arguing online that what the police did was, right, and that they were in the right to do it and they shouldn't be punished, or yeah, it just there's some who did you say that you argued with a lot on the internet, about the ones that love cops? You're still needed, by the way.
You're a better host than me, thank you.
I use Discord a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm like kind of an old. This is where I'm like I'm a little too old. I never got into Discord for gaming, and I'm on it now. So, but I'm still like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like what a boomer must have felt like when AIM came out. Like, what the fuck is this? You know?
It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I like it for some things. I follow some podcast groups in there, and so that's like kind of fun because it's not on Facebook, and it's very light and like silly. So it's kind of like it's like a faster version of Reddit and a smaller community base.
Hmm.
Anyways, sidebar. Fuck, I was going somewhere, but yeah, the trauma. It's just the trauma, and it's we get
And
to
as we shouldn't be shooting humans and for property. Yes, it does traumatize the community, but like someone's life should not be taken
Oh my
for
god, yeah.
property, for property, or anything, like, or any reason ever. That should never, ever, ever be the thing that they do, is to shoot you. They have fucking tasers. They have batons. They're in cars. Like, they literally last resort need to use a gun. It's absurd.
doesn't the Constitution say like life in the pursuit of happiness and like
I know, you know how I feel about the Constitution.
yeah, no, oh yeah. I mean, we give the cops the authority to decide that. That's fucking wild, man. It's wild. I don't know.
Yeah, the cops taking the role of judge, jury, and executioner whenever they feel like, they're in a moment where they can just take advantage of a situation and get away with like just actual child murder. Yeah, no, it's asinine.
Yeah, and then just to keep giving them raises. It's like, okay, more money. And
It
I
doesn't
don't hate cops. I just hate the idea of money being funneled into something like that. It's the institution. It's no individual person. It's literally just like, what in the fuck are we doing? Like, anyone balancing their checkbook or like looking at their money for like the month would just never be like, yeah, I want to give them like half of it. That sounds good.
because the Constitution and subsequent fucking case law that Supreme Court has upheld, like, you know, uh, we've talked ourselves into a fucking corner that cops can't be held responsible for their actions. And, you just basically gave no consequences to guys with guns. I mean, I'm talking about qualified immunity and other cases. It's well documented. Joanne, I'm talking about a million times. So it's just wild. It's all right in front of us too. Like the answer is all right in front of us. And I don't know. It's just frustrating. So just to bring it back to the episode, I want to thank Holyoke Memes for being a guest. And I hope hopefully you'll come back on, maybe just do cooling and tomfoolery with us at the very least. Low commitment,
Oh
because
yeah.
we definitely love your point of view and the fact that you're great. You have great ideas and you have great insight on the community, but you also are, you know, you engage with us, we engage with you, and from firsthand experience, I suggest everybody go follow you. So like, let's just shout out like where to find you. It's on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm at Holyoke Memes on Instagram. If you go to HCC and you want to know what the food is like, I no longer am in charge of it because I'm moving out. But at HCC Cafe Reviews has like a few dozen posts just talking about food, telling you about the food. It's not super active right now. I'm mostly posting on Holyoke Memes.
And Holyoke Memes is there's multiple admins now.
Yeah.
You
Me and
started.
me and the other guy, you'll see some shit. If you see cold emojis, that's him. If you see up emojis, that's me. Anyway,
Um,
that's me.
so anyways, we appreciate your commentary. We look forward to at least collabing with you again in the future, and we recommend anybody give you a follow just for some giggles, shits and giggles. I can tell you like personally, I know multiple people that follow you, and independently, we all found you. So, and we mostly everybody seems to get a kick out of you. So, well, the team. Holyoke Memes, I should say. It's hard to separate talking to one person all day, but it's just not forget the team and makes it so charming. So I hope anybody listening, if they feel like that's up their alley, that's probably, I'm guessing, the vibe y'all are looking for over there. But that's just my 2 cents.
All right. I appreciate it. Not the not you're not wrong.
Well, it's okay to be humble, but I'm just telling you, like, it's a very genuine account, and it's got good values. Just like y'all pass the smell test is all.
We smell like weed. We smell like weed and like a 13-hour shift at retail.
And for everybody listening out there, I hope like we all had different points of view here in this podcast, right? And we all found a way to like kind of meet in the middle and discuss and like explain our points of view and like where we come from. So it's not about being right or having a dogma. It's about being willing to have the conversation over values and the best results. So I don't know. I thought this was a great exercise in that. Like we can all have different perspectives and different points of view, and you can kind of hear each other out, and that's how you inform for the next conversation. So appreciate you for that.
Yeah, all right. It's been really great. I'm definitely gonna want to come on for another one.
Oh, good to hear. Well, we look forward to figuring out when that is. Obviously we'll stay in touch. And anything you'd like to say before we go, Joanna?
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time and take care.
All right. Thank you very much, Holyoke Memes. We'll be seeing you in the future. And thank you, everybody listening. Remember, you can find us online, www.theweedout.com. You can find us on all the social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. You can just go to our website, theweedout.com, click on our link tree, direct you everywhere. Find us on the podcast directories, not yet on Spotify or YouTube, but we're planning on doing that in the future. So tell your friends, tell your family, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.